Manhattan for the MMA rally to legalize and regulate mixed martial arts in the state of New York. We are with the conscience of MMA, Eddie Goldman. Eddie, tell us about today's event.
This was kind of an unprecedented historical event where about 50 people came out on February 8th in very cold weather, very windy weather, right across the street from City Hall to demand that New York become the 45th state to legalize and regulate mixed martial arts. That means already 44 states have long since done it. There are 2 states that can't because they don't have athletic commissions and anything goes. And New York, on this issue and a lot of other ones, is really one of the most backward states in the union. And it's long since overdue that this ridiculous draconian law that was pushed through without any real debate in 1997 outlawing the sport be overturned, and that, as the previous governor, David Paterson, wanted, as the governor before him, who used to be against the sport, but now is for regulating it, George Pataki, wanted, as the current chair of the New York State Athletic Commission, Melvina Lathan, wants, and as the martial arts community wants, and as the people of New York who are hurting with cutbacks and not enough jobs need, mixed martial arts should be regulated and sanctioned. And the bills that are currently working their way through this latest Senate and Assembly in 2011 be passed and be signed by Governor Cuomo. That's what we're demanding. It's ridiculous this sport was not regulated back in the day. They should have done what so many other states did and sat down with the people from mixed martial arts and hashed out a set of rules and regulations. Instead, they just banned it.
Is that the big word, regulate? And what would you say to people who feel that it's just too brutal?
Well, they'd have to prove it. I could say anything, but if you compare it to other things that are allowed, compare it to NFL football. You get a concussion in NFL football, you're back maybe the same game or maybe a week later. You get a concussion in mixed martial arts, you're going to get a minimum 30-day medical suspension, maybe 45 or 60 days, and you're going to have to be cleared by an independent doctor, not by a doctor hired by the team owner or by the promoter. And if you look at the safety record, yes, it's a violent sport, it's a rough sport, it's a combat sport. But compared to what else we allow in our society today, including boxing and other sports that you don't think create as many injuries, like soccer and a lot of other sports have very serious injuries. By the standards we have in society today, there's no reason to ban it. And if somebody doesn't want to watch it because they don't like this kind of sport, that's fine. That's their privilege. That's their right. I have never had any argument with that. But a lot of people do want to watch it. A lot of people do want to participate in it. And there's no rational reason that this sport should be banned, and why New York should not be among the 44 states that allow it and sanction it and regulate it, and instead be among the last 4 holdout states that have this attitude of prohibitionism to this great sport.
You know, just before we end, it has come a long way, because I remember when only 25 states had it legalized. So in the last few years, it's come a long way, I would say then.
Yes.
45?
Yes, the promoters have been fighting for many, many years to get it sanctioned and regulated. There's a long history of them going to various athletic commissions, of rules being adopted and being changed. It's a relatively young sport. I mean, if you look at the history of other sports, you know, I think it was in the 1890s in Major League Baseball, you would get 8 balls for a walk and 4 strikes for an out. And walks would count as a hit one year. That didn't work out, so they came up with the current rules. All these sports take time to develop their rules, and mixed martial arts is is one of them. But in terms of safety, the people who have been running it have been very diligent about it. It's far from perfect. There are a lot of mistakes. There's a lot of improvements that could be made. But my point is that by what we accept in our society today, it certainly falls well within the boundaries of what is acceptable risk.
And to end on this note, we're down here actively trying to make some noise to be heard. I think that's one of the big things that needs to be done. What can the viewer out there who's watching this, who is a fan that's at home, can do to try to, bring attention to this, issue here?
Contact your state senator, your state assemblyman, and the governor and tell them, we want mixed martial arts. We want the jobs associated with it. We want the income. We want the tax revenue associated with the dozens and dozens of events that will pop up all over the state, not just a few big ones at the Garden, but all over the state when this sport is sanctioned and legalized. Make some noise, go online, make your voice heard. Tell people in the media what the truth is about the sport, how it combines the techniques of the various existing martial arts, including the 4 Olympic combat sports, and it combines them into one, and it makes illegal techniques that are considered either too dangerous or too unsportsmanlike. And there's a whole list of things that are banned under the unified rules of mixed martial arts, which will be in place if the legislation is passed. And that's what we want to be done this year. We have all these cutbacks that are going on, all this people losing jobs, losing homes, all these terrible things, and yet this sport will bring in revenue and create jobs, but our politicians are not legalizing it and sanctioning it. It is insane. We have to stop the madness. Legalize MMA in New York now.
Thank you. I'm Kristal Hart, Eddie Goldman, the conscience of MMA. Thank you. Thank you.
What do we want? MMA! All right.